more time you were planning on spending.
I'm planning on spending 3 more minutes.
Good response.
So I'm going to give you the punchline. We also did a systematic review looking at studies that published, that tested and evaluated apps for medication management, and then hopefully they published their findings. And that study basically found, I'll just jump to we evaluated 3,000 published articles, and only 50 met our inclusion criteria. Wow. Yeah, and most of these studies are what we call technical studies. So if they evaluated their app and they published it, it's really a technical study, meaning that they assessed it for usability and feasibility. Basically, does the app work and can a patient navigate it, will connect? That's about it. As far as clinical studies, there are very few that actually were conducted rigorously, like a randomized clinical trial to assess outcomes on medication adherence or even health outcomes. We found 6 trials looking at an app for diabetes and 2 trials that looked at outcomes for asthma. So for general medication adherence, the studies were quite weak. I'll just pass on all this. And then, since the smartphone revolution is drastically increasing, we noticed that there's more and more studies being published. And so hopefully more and more studies are rigorously tested. Because right now, Care for Today, it hasn't gone through a clinical trial. So you can try it, but we don't necessarily know how effective it's going to be in improving adherence in our patients. Yeah. So I just wanted to end with these 3 slides. Really, if you're going to choose an app, you really want to understand who your patients are and what their perspectives are. So perhaps the biggest reason why adherence is most challenging is really forgetfulness and motivation. So if you're going to want an app, they all have the medication reminders, but I think that education about their medications, their purpose, why it's important to take their medications is really key. And a lot of these apps do not have that information in there. So you want an app that would likely allow a clinician to write in a personal message of why this medication is important for you. That would be really cool. And this is kind of what's out there. So we have things to actually match what patient factors and issues that they have with adherence, but it's really finding the app that has the right mix for your patients. And let's not forget about the patients, because on the other end, providers will be using these apps as well. And so for providers, they want easy data entry, something that's quick and fast, it's interoperable with their EMR. I'll have to say most of these are not interoperable with their EMR. They do have their own type of system, which is better than nothing. And providers want to be able to track clinical outcomes. And so that Care for Today app allows patients to easily check whether or not they've taken a dose or missed a dose. And it creates reports both for the patients and providers to track it on a monthly basis or weekly basis. It's actually a visual display of adherence, which is quite nice. There's tons of things out there that already can do this. Again, it's finding the right mix for your patients and your providers. And then lastly, the app itself is just a tool. We shouldn't over-rely on technology. There needs to be a human component. There needs to be clinicians involved. There needs to be motivational interviewing. There needs to be engagement and interaction. And it's not just a one-time consultation. It's something that will be ongoing really to ensure the success of medication adherence. So don't lose sight of, let's just use an app for that. You really need a human component as well.
It's a team sport.
Thanks.
Great, excellent. Thank you.